So this is what we're going to do now. Automatic blending is when the field names are set, it just blends for you automatically. Manual blending will be when you do the blending yourself using the edit relationships. So that's what manual blending is. So here we have two data sources, a broken down, that is a shortened version of the Superstore data. So Superstore data, it has sales records, right? And then we have the secondary connection. It's going to be population 2014 file. So the idea here is, these are from two different direct files. It's not, usually you will not have population data in the sales file, right? So you have sales coming in from somewhere, population data coming in from somewhere else. So you're going to connect to these two, and since this is going to be two separate connections, it's got to be a blended, you have to blend the data. You cannot do a join. Okay, join is usually the most straightforward approach, but these are two different files, so you now have to do a blending. And what the purpose is, we want to look at sales by state, okay, and then not all states are set. Like you have California and then you have Wyoming, right? So you want to bring in population and then see per capita what is the sales. Where are we selling more per person, per individual resident of the state. So we want to look at that kind of information, and so we're bringing in population. So we have to do a blending, and then we have to keep in mind that if state level is where you're blending, okay, the blended data will all come as a sum for state. So your original data set may have state and then zip code, right? If you put the visualization, if you put zip code into the visualization and bring in the population data from here, so what will happen is for each zip code, the population will be equal to the entire state, right? Because it's joining at the level of state. So when the blending takes place at the level of state, all the population will get added up for that state. So it's going to come in as population for the state. And then in the visualization, if you go down to the zip code level, each zip code will have population equal to the entire state. So you have to keep that in mind. That's the reason why it's very important to understand the difference or how blending actually takes place. So that's the objective. That's what we want to do. So the mechanics is pretty straightforward. So you bring in, all right. So you bring in broken Superstore, all right, that has only one sheet, so that one sheet gets automatically placed in the join area. Okay. Now let's go in and do bring in population 2014. Okay. So that's in here as well. So there are 51 records here. I suppose District of Columbia is included. All right, so let's look at the orders. So how many orders there are? So if you click that, you will know how many orders there are. So there is 9,426 records. Okay. Now we have state or province. So that's the state for the customer in the order, right? And if you look at the population, so we have state there. Okay, so the names are different. In one it is called state, in the other it is called state. state or province. So if you leave it like this, blending won't happen automatically. If you rename it, okay, right click and rename, and then you say state. Alright. So the original name is still state or province, but we have renamed it to state. Alright. So now go to sheet 1 and we start with the orders. So orders will be our primary data source. So you take state and put it in state, put it in rows, and sales into columns. Then you get your visualization bar chart. And suppose we want to sort this by sum of sales, so you can, so here you can go here, click that icon. There are other ways of sorting, we've already seen all that. So now we have sales sorted in descending order. Okay. Alright, so now suppose we want to bring in the population of each state, okay, side by side. So go to population. See, because the key field has the same name, the blending has automatically taken place. So if this has a broken link, so that means the blending is not, even though the names are same, blending is not taking place. Okay. So now if I bring in state, okay, state is already there, right? State is already there. If I bring in population and put it into columns, then you see for each state we have population here. So population and sales. Okay. But there is a null here for this, where there is New York, and then there is nothing for New York here. Okay. So these are the kinds of things that you may come across when you're working with data coming from different sources. So there may be some anomalies that you have to fix, right? So this is our sales, this is our population. So let's go to the data source and see what's going on. See here, our population, New York, is spelled like that, right? Now if you look at the orders, okay, you see let's look at an order here and see New York City state. So New York is coded as NY. So this is why, so in the primary data source, New York is NY. In the secondary data source, New York is spelled out New York. So it's not making the connection. So what we need to do is, we can do it here. Let's do it here. So you go here and right click, okay, and then edit alias. So now we can give an alias. So that value will be known as both NY and New York. So now the connection is made and you have the so the null is gone and you have a good visualization.
Edit alias.
So you have to go to NY, right click, and there it is.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Now I want to show marks. So here, so there it is. If you click that, it'll show all the marks. Okay. Okay. You want to control the format of these, then right click, do format. Oh, it's selecting. Make sure that everything is selected here. So now this is your sales. So if you select sum of sales as the field, so there are two things that you can format. One is the axis, x-axis, or you can format the pane. So let's do the pane first. Okay. The default number. So there are, this is sales, so we can select from these choices. So standard, custom, currency standard and currency custom. Currency standard will be just that, okay, 2 decimal places. But in custom, you can control how many decimal places you want, and also in what units you want the numbers to be displayed, the marks to be displayed. So if you click here, it will give you choices. You can do it in thousands, millions, billions, and jillions. What? Billions is B and G? I don't know what that is. Why they have two? So suppose we want millions, so then it will convert it to millions. Okay. Okay, we'll do the same for axis. So here, do currency in millions. Okay. And we can select from the fields. Now select population and do the same thing here. Population, the axis is already in millions. So let's go to the pane and change that to, so this is not currency, so number, custom, so in millions.